What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Philly Talk with PA. Always keep it a stack, always keep it a buck. Today, um, we'll do a little Commanders preview. We'll do a little, we'll talk about some stuff going on around the league. We'll talk about NFC playoff picture, all that good stuff. But first, I want to start this off with, once again, everyone that was doubting Jalen Hurts, stay on that side because my guy right now is having you people want to say down year, this, that. All I know is that my guy has accounted for nearly around 30 touchdowns to 6 turnovers. That that's what the facts say. Once again, this we don't engage in hyperbole. We don't speculate. We just give the hardcore facts, the truth, what's on the stat sheet, what do the eyes tell you? Could have easily had a four touchdown game against the Raiders. Once again, for the people that say it's just the Raiders, you are supposed superior talent is supposed to make lesser talent look like lesser talent. And that's what the Eagles did last week. Now, this week, I'm gonna keep it a stat. I'm not even one of those people. No Eagles by 40. They gonna run through. Commanders are going to be. It's a division game. We've seen with the Giants. The Giants are terrible, but it's still a game. The Cowboys are not that good, and it was still a game. So yes, even Marcus Mariota is the quarterback, they still got my man, Mikey Sanders still. Fourth in the league in picks. Shout out to bro. Um Somehow Von Miller has 7 sacks. I was like checking the thing. I was like, what? Huh? But this will be a tough division test on the road. I'm gonna try, we're trying to get tickets, we're trying to go to that John, but this is not gonna be, a run through. The Commanders, they're gonna put up a fight. It's always gonna be, tough. It's gonna be testy. We all need to know they got some guys, but we got guys. And at the end of the day, I trust in my guy, breed of one. I trust in my guy, Hurts, QB1. Do not switch up. Um, but nevertheless, this game, and we'll give a prediction, at the end. But I still think, even though it's a tough game, Eagles will come out on top. They will prevail for a tough test going to Buffalo next week, the week after that. And we'll talk a bit about that game in this episode as well. But moving on to, there's a guy in Miami that's, avoided criticism, for most of his career, while his elder Alabama teammate gets put through the ringer. And homeboy finally got benched today. Did you? I wanted to know if y'all knew this. Because people after the Chargers game told me Hurts is like, this proves Hurts is a turnover machine. He's doing all this. Did y'all know that Tua Tagovailoa leads the league in turnovers? Did you guys know that Tua Tagovailoa has 16 picks? Horrible. Loses the way this guy turns the ball over, the way Tua Tagovailoa evades criticism, you would think he had Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady level resume. I mean, bro, like laughing on the sideline, about to lose to the Steelers. Um, I mean, like the best moment. I mean, like, yeah, you beat Josh Allen by 30. we're gonna talk about Josh Allen. We're gonna talk about MVP case, but bro, I don't know how you can be that bad, and somehow, some way, they're talking about should the Eagles bench Jalen Hurts. Meanwhile, we got a guy down in Miami stinking it up. We got it. We'll talk about him. We got a guy up there in Seattle who, in big moments, stinking it up. We have someone in Dallas who, once again, in big moments, stinking it up. You have Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl MVP, champion, All Pro, Pro Bowler. That's the guy that should be benched because he had a 2 or 3 game bad stretch, and it was bad. Here at Philly Talk, we once again were objective. It was bad. Hurts did not play well from like the second quarter of the Cowboys game on, even though that wasn't really his fault that the game was thrown away. But then Chicago, then the Chargers. So Hurts has this like kind of 2-game stretch where it's like really bad. And hey, it's fair. Jalen Hurts did not play well. But for a guy that lead the league in turnovers, this is the same thing we saw 2020, I believe it was 2022 season, where Dak led the league, was tied with Derek Carr for the league lead in turnovers. And I didn't hear a peep. I didn't hear a word. His team was in the same position as the Eagles. I didn't hear a word. Should the Cowboys bench Dak Prescott? Mind you, homeboy had like 17 interceptions. But that's neither here nor there. But Tua bench for Quinn Ewers. Just think about that. Benched for Quinn Ewers. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to waste my time on the guppies, you know, fake teams can't play on the court. Y'all heard J Ram, the other night. Y'all heard what he said, but I get so sick and tired, and people keep on saying why you make it about Hurts. I don't make it. The people that try to say these bogus, the Eagles should bench Hurts. Hurts is he's a merchant of everyone around. Like, those are the people that make it about Hurts. I don't come up with these conversations, these scenarios. I don't do that. Y'all do. So when Joe Burrow, who has, and I will be fair to guys like Joe Burrow, who I personally really like. I will be fair to guys like Patrick Mahomes, two guys that have not been playing that great as of late. Honestly, Burrow for the first 3.5 quarters against Buffalo was sensational, but those two guys, like I really wonder, especially with Cincinnati, if the offensive line knows that they're allowed to block. Like, I'm watching Joe Burrow take the snap, look up, free rushers in his face. He's running for his life. Same thing. The whole reason why Mahomes tears his ACL in the first place is because he's running for his life because he's down to like his 5th string offensive tackle. So I'm going to be fair to those two guys. I'm going to give those guys grace because one of those guys has beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. He's beaten Allen. He's beaten Lamar. He's gone to the Super Bowl. Even though he came up short, we know he has that in him. The other guy is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, All Pro, Pro Bowler, regular season MVP. Just to name a few. So I'm going to give those two guys the grace. Now, once we get to some other guys, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. Now, we'll get to Jared Goff's team in a bit, but I want to talk about, because we're about to see it tomorrow night. Trust and believe this. Sam Darnold will fold tomorrow night. Big game, big moment. Sam Darnold will fall. I mean, it's not hating. It's simply what we've seen up until this point. Whether it's the playoffs last year with Minnesota, whether it was the last game of the season against the Lions last year, whether it was this year against the Rams. Now, wait, Sam Darnold threw 4 picks, all of which were on him. And I didn't hear anything. Oh, it was just a bad game by Sam Darnold. You know, it's just unfortunate. Not one time did I hear, should Sam Darnold be benched? Does Sam Darnold have a turnover problem? Yet, when Jalen Hurts has a couple of bad games, now it's, do they need to bench him for respect? And bro, this isn't about Tanner McKee. Like, this isn't like taking shots. Because we rock Tanner McKee. We rock with bro. Personally, he should have been second string over Kenny Pickett last season. But, bro, do y'all really hate the man that bad? Like, the man can't have more than one bad game. We're talking about benching. We're talking about, we're not talking about the coaching issues. And we're going to talk about some coaching stuff as well. We're going to talk about Scott Loeffler, QB coach, his potential role in the offense. But this is just like when other guys, and I know Sam Darnold, Baker, they're not on like the same level as Hurts. So it's like you can't really be too critical, but Baker Mayfield went from 5-1 to 7-7. And not one time did I hear a word. And injuries cannot be an excuse, because when they were winning games without Mike Evans, without Ibuka, without Godwin, without certain players on defense, I didn't hear anything. I said, you see Baker, he's doing all this. He is the reason. He is the Bucks generator. He is the plug. That's what I heard. Then when they start losing, oh, well, Mike Evans is not there. Ibuka. So is Baker Mayfield someone that needs everything perfect around him to succeed? Because it sounds like that's what you're telling me. If Baker Mayfield can't win without top tier talent, then, and we know when people try to say Hurts can't win without top tier talent. First off, I'll say this once again. If that's the argument, then Troy Aikman, then Joe Montana, then Tom Brady aren't all-time great players. Then Patrick Mahomes is not an all-time great player by that argument. Because if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure Tom Brady threw to Gronkowski. I'm pretty sure he threw to Edelman. Pretty sure he threw to Amendola. Pretty sure he had the McCourty brothers on defense, Dante Hightower, Stephon Gilmore, Malcolm Butler. Like, I could just go on the amount of players he's had defensively. But that's not here nor there. I'm pretty sure Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, just Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu, just to name a few. I'm not even going to get into the Hall of Fame roster that Joe Montana had. So this argument that like knowing that no one can win without, with great talent around them is just debunked. It's dumb. Once again, Eagles fans, we have seen Jalen Hurts win at high levels without the top tier talent around him. So when you put more guys around him, what do you expect is going to happen? We saw it last season. But, these guys, we talked about Sam Darnold, we talked about Baker. I want to get to this other guy. And y'all know, Michigan, they got a lot of Lions fans up there. I know they're going to see us. Jared Goff folded. Jared Goff is a game manager. Now, when we look at the current Lions, who might at this point not even make the playoffs, and I just want to, so Jahmyr Gibbs has been there the entire year. David Montgomery's been there the entire year. Pretty sure Amon-Ra's been healthy most of the season. Glock J-Mo. Am I missing it? But we tried to tell Lions fans, you lose like half of your O-line to retiring or another team. You lose your coordinators. And there needs to be conversation because people like to go at Nick Sirianni, which might be fair at times. There needs to be conversation. Is Dan Campbell a coordinator merchant? Because we have seen this Lions team this season more times than not. We literally just saw it last Sunday against the Rams. Get straight outplayed, outcoached. And I need to know, is Dan Campbell a coordinator merchant? Is Jared Goff a game manager who needs everything perfect around him to succeed? Because that is what it looks like. If Jared Goff does not have everything perfect around him, if he doesn't have everyone healthy on defense, as we saw in the playoffs last year, he will fold. You see it time and time again. Yet people want to try to tell, Jared Goff, he leads the league in passer rating. He leads all these stats. So what? So like who cares? If it doesn't amount to wins, who cares? There just last season, Joe Burrow threw for 5 million yards. But did it amount to wins? And we know his defense was terrible last season as well. But when you know your defense is bad, and this is what we saw from Jalen Hurts in 2023 up until the last 5 games. When you know your defense is terrible, you know you have to play that much better. And Jalen Hurts carried that team until week 12 when the wheels completely fell off against San Francisco. When he was dealing with, see, that's the thing, Joe Burrow's defense, those were the starters. Jalen Hurts was dealing with the entire linebacking core being consisted of practice squad players. James Bradbury fall off. Like generational James Bradbury fall off. Darius Slay not playing his best game. Lack of pass rush. Lack of willingness to tackle. Sidney Brown out there on the field looking like a blind dog in a meat house. No idea where he was going. That was the defense Jalen Hurts had to deal with the entire season. Sam Howell had multiple career high games that year against the Eagles. Giants look formidable against the Eagles. Like they were making mediocre offenses look like the 2000 Rams. And people tried to tell me Jalen Hurts was the reason for that collapse. They still try to, but we're not fooled over here. Real quick, I want to talk about AJ Brown. Now, right now, AJ Brown, not having obviously one of his like best all pro level seasons, but what AJ Brown and the offense as a whole, the Eagles offense, despite all the offensive struggles this year, could still finish with 2 1,000-yard receivers, a 10-touchdown tight end, and a 1,000-yard running back. Now, obviously, from last season, Saquon 2K, AJ Devontae going crazy, Dallas Goedert joining in the party. Like, obviously, it's a step back, but to still have, above the average is something to be said. And particularly with AJ Brown. Now, I know a lot of people say, like, when AJ Brown gets all his catches, his yards, the Eagles lose. And that might be fair. One could say. But to say, like, we don't need AJ Brown is ridiculous. And here's why. AJ Brown commands so much attention because defenses know he is so great. And that is one of the biggest reasons why Dallas Goedert, if you watch the tape, is having a career year. Now, we can talk about, the Packers play where AJ takes away the safety and his man on a dig crosser, leaves Devontae wide open against Evan Williams one-on-one in man coverage. We all know Devontae's coming down with that. AJ Brown's impact, even when he's not catching the ball, is so monumental. And people are talking about, then shout out Darius Cooper. We know he had a couple nice plays against the Raiders. Darius Cooper is not AJ Brown. AJ Brown, like people like fail. Like you have to stop looking at what the box score says and start watching the game. AJ Brown's impact is second to none. Like guys like Jamar Chase, guys like Justin Jefferson. Why do you think Jalen Naylor went off against the Cowboys? Maybe it's because Justin Jefferson is demanding so much attention that Jalen Naylor is left one-on-one with Deron Bland or Kalen Carson or whoever is trying to guard him. Like, you have to think about this. Every time the Bengals' third receiver goes off, every time the Rams' third receiver, or it's Colby Parkinson, goes off, maybe it's because Puka Nacua and Devontae are demanding so much attention that it opens up areas for other guys to thrive. Like, we got to look at that. And I want to get to this real quick. I saw a clip on Twitter. Scott Loeffler, Eagles QB coach. Apparently, there were a lot of plays that were ran on Sunday that looked a lot like his offense when he was the coach at Bowling Green. Like, I'm not gonna say Scott Loeffler is like the unsung hero, because obviously this is not confirmed. Because Nick Sirianni was like, I will be taking a bigger role in the offense this week, yada yada yada. But at the same time, like, they did, like, there were a lot of plays that look very similar to Scott Loeffler's offense. And maybe, hopefully you implement that against Washington. And we'll get to that at the end, that score prediction at the end. But last thing I want to talk about before that score prediction is Buffalo and why the Eagles can go into Buffalo and come out with a win. Obviously, since the Bears game where the Eagles defense got embarrassed, that was the only poor performance, aside from that Giants game as well. That first Giants game where Adoree Jackson, no willingness to tackle. Guys just not I was like, bro, what? Keely Ringo getting mossed by a fifth-string receiver who's not even on the Giants anymore. The Eagles defense can take this team into Buffalo and come out with a victory. And here's why. 1, Josh Allen has already faced a team similar to the Eagles and the Houston Texans. The Texans' offense, by the way, led by Davis Mills, did not have it going for most of the night. Yet Josh Allen struggled against an all-world Houston Texans defense, threw 2 horrible picks, including a game-losing pick on the potential game-winning drive, to lose to Davis Mills. So even if the Eagles offense, for example, let's just say, does not get it going, I am trusting in Nakobe Dean, Moro Jomo, Zach Bond, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I'm trusting in those guys to hold Josh Allen and the Bills offense down, to shut down James Cook, who, gets a lot of the credit, who should get more credit for when the Bills win. I'm trusting in the Eagles defense to shut down Josh Allen's offense. And real quick on James Cook and the Bills, I'm getting pretty sick and tired of when the Bills lose, it's because everyone else on the team sucks. And when the Bills win, it's all Josh Allen. And this is not, because I actually believe, if I ever meet Josh Allen seems like obviously is on the field, the flopping antics, I get sick of it sometimes. But Josh Allen seems like a really cool, humble dude. Look at where bro came from. He seems like a really chill guy. We saw also the stuff with COVID and him just gaming with Diggs, all that stuff. But I feel like it's more the Josh Allen PR team and the Josh Allen fan base, kind of similar to Baker Mayfield. You love a guy like Baker, but his fan base is just dude, y'all doing too much. But Josh Allen, I think if you look at that Houston game, you look what they were able to do to him. They got pressure. They got thing was 7 sacks. Now, can the Eagles get 7 sacks? I don't know. Jordan Davis, especially if Carter's not playing, they're going to need you, brother. BG, shout out, friend of the show, BG. They're going to need you. Nolan Smith, going to have to show up. Jalen Phillips, you're going to have to show up. But that is very doable. And, we'll there's actually 2 more. I'm just it's a slow day. Y'all stay with me. There's 2 more kind of things we'll get into real quick. One, and I'll be very clear and very quick on this. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. Once again, the Josh Allen fan base, not really Josh Allen himself, but the Josh Allen fan base, respectfully, shut up. Just sit down. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. It's not even close. If you look at what this man has done this season, multiple 5 TD performances, all the, Matthew Stafford, the clutch wins. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. It's not even close. We got that out of the way. Kind of the last thing I'll talk about. I want to talk about potentially the next Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman of the NFL, and his name is Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell is so good, you don't hear his name until early or mid fourth quarter when the announcer decides to compliment his play and they throw up a next gen stats sheet showing his performance. Just think about that. Quinyon Mitchell on 500 plus coverage snaps this season is the only cornerback in the NFL. Yes, that includes Derek Stingley. Yes, that includes Pat Surtain, to have given up 0 TDs. Now, I'm pretty sure Quinyon Mitchell has faced Malik Neighbors. I'm pretty sure Quinyon Mitchell has faced Mike Evans, Emeka Ibuka, Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's given up 0 TDs. And somehow that man is ranked at the Pro Bowl is such a joke that Quinyon Mitchell is ranked 10th in Pro Bowl voting for corners. The Pro Bowl, this just proves the Pro Bowl is a glorified popularity contest that doesn't really matter anymore. It used to matter. But now it's a popularity contest. And once again, because people don't hear Quinyon's name a lot because he's locking it down, people want interceptions. People want Deron Bland. That's why people hopped on the Deron Bland train and got fooled. That's how Jerry got fooled into signing that contract. Mr. 92 M's. That's how Jerry got fooled. Because it was, pick 6 and another pick. Darrelle Revis' career high interceptions was 4. I'm pretty sure Deron Bland had 9 or 10. If they keep targeting you, and you keep getting picks, but if they keep targeting you, they're telling you something. They do not, in lacrosse, if you have a really, one of my best friends, shout out Owen James, one of the best defenders, I've ever seen with my own eyes, you wouldn't even, he would have a lot of takeaways, but he could have probably had even more if people went at him. You don't even go at you don't try Deion Sanders. You do not try to go against Richard Sherman. You do not try to go against Pat Surtain. You do not try to go against Derek Stingley. So if you keep getting if your interception count is high and they keep throwing your way, that means they're telling you something. You suck ass. You're not that good. We've seen Deron Bland get cooked multiple times, just so many times. think we all remember, I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago, the DK Metcalf game where DK had like 7 catches for $130 and 2 touchdowns on him. Like, we know, like, real football fans knew Deron Bland wasn't good, but Cowboys fans, we let them, get their spiel in, their spiel. All that goes to say, Quinyon Mitchell, argument, say best corner in the league right now. That's not hyperbole. That's not conjecture. That's factual. Facts. Last thing, I'm gonna think. I'm gonna give it Eagles 31, Commanders 22. Like, I think they're gonna get some points like on the board, but when it comes down to it, Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts will prevail. Tough division test on the road. Let me know what y'all think. Once again, Hurts QB1. Do not switch up now. But hey man, that's just my thoughts. Once again, it's your boy, Philly Taco PA, where always keep it a stack. We always keep it a buck over here. I'm out, y'all.